You want to hear my pitch on Brandon Ingram on a few teams?
Sure.
The two teams I actually think that are like decent teams where he makes the most sense to me are the Lakers and, let's go pervert mode, the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, hear me out.
Hold on. I'm getting the. Yeah, I got a friend. He's sick.
He just got off the Tobias Harris contract.
It's a cry for help, though. Yeah, it's the same one. He stopped the DeAndre Hunter or DeAndre Hunter, the Dejounte Murray. He just stopped the Dejounte Murray cold turkey.
Yeah. So what if Dejounte Murray was a wing though?
Look, Dejounte Murray's a guard, but Brandon Ingram could be anything, even a guard. You know how much we wanted one of those.
We're going back for more Tobias Harris, baby. Oh. Okay, so hear me out. Hear me out on Brandon Ingram for both these teams. The thing that I think is most important for both the Lakers and the Sixers are keeping, whether it's Anthony Davis, LeBron James, or Joel Embiid, keeping those guys fresh, keeping those guys healthy. And while Brandon Ingram definitely is a very flawed player, I don't think he's perfect by any means. I think that a lot of the times when, and look, everyone can tell me that I loved Aaron Gordon in 2020. No, you didn't. You're lying, okay? You did not love Aaron Gordon in 2020. You didn't love Andrew Wiggins in 2019. Those guys were sold at the bottom of their value. Now, if Brandon Ingram has real trade value, I don't want to give up like 3 first-round picks for him or whatever. If you are making a trade for a player that you view as someone that you're theoretically buying low on, stock around the league is not going to be very high on this player. Now, Brandon Ingram has been probably overtaxed as a number one option. I don't know if he can scale and be a 2 or 3, but I do know that on the Sixers and the Lakers, the most important thing for those teams is keeping their best players fresh and healthy. And the biggest issue I've said over and over again for the Sixers is Joel's conditioning and his health. And if he's not healthy or in shape in the playoffs, you're cooked. Like it doesn't matter. These moves don't matter if that's the case. And getting an extra shot creator like Brandon Ingram, who can take some of the load throughout the regular season, I have my health concerns about him for sure. But if he can take some of the load off of the back of, it's the same reason why I've talked myself into DeJounte too. If he could take the load off of Joel, and in the Lakers case, take the load off LeBron and AD throughout the course of a season, it keeps them fresher. It makes it so they're less likely to get hurt. And also over the course of a game, Joel can lock into what he does best, which is scoring and defense, and he doesn't have to carry quite as much of a load, and then he's not completely gassed at the end of playoff games. And while Maxey is growing into that lead shot creator role, I don't think it would kill them to get another guy if he buys into more of a role off the ball and on defense. Now, maybe he doesn't do that and it's a disaster move. I don't know, but I think I have him fourth on my list of guys that I think that they should target. And I think Paul George, Jimmy Butler, and DeJounte, I would have all above them. Brandon Ingram's fourth, because I just think that everyone looks at what the Nuggets and the Warriors did, and they have to realize that Jokic and Steph are different players, and also they're all-time players at the peak of their powers. It's not to say that Joel can't do that, but Joel's 30 years old now. And you're like, everyone wants to go get a nice role player who fits, and you might have to take a risk at some point. You might just have to push in the chips, take a risk on talent, take a risk on a guy who was a high pick before, take a risk on a guy who was an all-star at one point in his career, and hope that it works out for the best. Because I think that you're starting to run out of years and options to be like, dude, they were 25 when they traded for Aaron Gordon. And I know Steph was later in his career, but they made many great moves in the middle of Steph's prime. And also, those are offensively tilted players that needed defensive help, and they can lift up the offensive talent around them. I think Joel's kind of the opposite. Joel is great because of his two-way impact, but he also lifts up guys defensively. And in order to be the best version of himself on offense, he has to be in good shape, and he has to be able to perform throughout the course of a playoff run. And yes, I'm insane. I'm done. Anyway.
No, I think that's a great thing. I think that the theoretical where Brandon Ingram is your second banana to a often injured, high usage center. That's one of the best players in the league. I'd see no way that could backfire. That could only be good.
So if you put Tyrese Maxey and CJ McCollum's spot on the Pelicans, would you like them more?
Yes, that's true. That is true. Okay, fair enough.
And Tyrese being as good as he is off the ball, because the thing is that I think that I don't really view any on-ball guy you get, whether it's Jimmy or Ingram or whoever, as taking away. I think it's maximizing Tyrese Maxey, because Maxey will float in and off the ball. He's a unique player. Like you just might need to build around these guys differently than we think. And I think that everyone just thinks get defensive, athletic role player who can survive on offense, when I actually think it might be the other way around for the Sixers. And I think it's the other way around for the Lakers for sure, because the Lakers never even have a top offense. At least Joel and the Sixers had a top offense in the regular season and playoffs this year. I don't know if there's a world where the Lakers can have a top offense if they don't get a Donovan Mitchell, a Trae Young, a Brandon Ingram. Like, I think they need someone like that in order to do it. So I think just from the Sixers perspective in general, like, I don't know. I think you need to think a little bit outside the box. I think a lot of these moves, I like the Aaron Gordon trade at the time because they gave up nothing for him. But I don't think that anyone was as high as on Aaron Gordon as they claim they were in 2019. And I don't think anyone was as high on Andrew Wiggins either. Like, I think that there are out of the box moves. There are guys that you can acquire that if the role player stuff isn't on the table, that you need to start taking risks. And I could talk myself into it for sure. I already have.
This is
so when he ends up on the Cavs, I'll be sick.
Mr. George, I need you to come to Philadelphia because my friend is sick. I don't want to see this happen to him.
Hey, last thing about the Brandon Ingram thing.
Oh, no.
Or DeJounte Murray, either one of them. Jimmy Butler and Paul George are obviously better players than them. They also make like $15 to $20 million more a year than those guys. And you can use the cap space on other role players, whether it's through trade or through free agency, in order to replace those guys, or just run it back with the team and have tradable contracts on the books. So I'm just saying. It's an uphill battle either way. So, all right. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here? Or you just gonna? I
don't want to encourage this. This is like kind of like I learn at my job when someone is doing things like this as a social worker. I redirect. I don't let them continue down that path. When someone's making alarming statements. So I just want to check out of that and